G'day, I'm Dr. Kev, and this is not my workshop. While on holiday, I get a little bit of time to think about how the channel's been going and where we're going to in the following year. And we've just completed our first full year of videos. And I'm pretty excited as to how it's gone. As of shooting this video, the channel's got over 9,000 subscribers, and I'm stoked that there's that many people out there that are watching this content and interested in what we're doing in designing and building cars. I'm really looking forward to seeing more people come on board and watch these videos, but it's a really good start, and I really value all of the comments and likes and time that people have put into watching this content. So thank you very much if you've been a part of that. If you're new to the channel, then I welcome you as well, and I hope that you get a chance to go through some of that back catalogue while we're producing more content this coming year. Early in 2025, the channel was monetized. This was an early goal for the channel. We want to try and make sure that this is self-sustaining. So if there's income coming in from YouTube, from ad revenue, as well as from sponsors, then that allows some scope for the projects to increase beyond what we can manage through our own funding. So we've got some sponsors coming on board for 2026, but I want to make sure that everything that we're showing is really relevant to the design, manufacture and testing of vehicles. Now in this channel, there's a lot of things that we want to do. We really want to teach some of the stuff that we've learned in our time spent around cars. Now most of our background is in motorsports, so trying to transfer that over to road cars is very interesting. But we also want to have some ongoing projects, and the big project that has been ongoing so far is Project 171. And a good question would be, how has that project been going? Now up until this point, we've mainly been in the design phase of this. So we've been spending time doing a lot of iterations in CAD, just trying things out, modeling parts as we've become certain that certain parts are going to be used, doing calculations, and we've been trying to roughly track that in the videos that have been shown on this channel. As we move into 2026, we're going to start to see some manufacture. So design and manufacture need to be linked, and we want to make sure that some of the decisions in design that need to have some manufacture components, whether that's mock-ups or so on, they need to have that manufacturing done. So we're going to see a lot more of the build part of design, build and improve as we're going into 2026, which is really exciting. We did manage to put together a little bit of a mock-up for the chassis so we get an idea of size. So we've got seats, and we could put the engine in the right location and get an idea for ergonomics. And that was really valuable. We learned a bunch of what was going to work and some things that weren't going to work. So there's been some confirmation of design, but also some changes to the design. A big fan of mock-ups, I've mentioned it in previous videos. We've also managed to pull apart a Subaru motor to get a bit of an idea of what we're working with. A big part of that was putting that motor together as a mock-up motor, a nice tidy motor that we could move around and not have the mock-up take up the garage space all the time. So we can move it aside, easy to work with, rather than having something that was put together with all of the components of the engine. Just recently, we've mocked up one of the corners of the suspension. Now this one wasn't as important as putting together a chassis mock-up. The CAD stuff is really quite valuable in that you've got a pretty good idea of how it's working, but it was really just for the fun of it, to see it together, to get some motivation that we're heading in the right direction. And so we might show some of that process in a future video. Now in 2025, we also had to clear the deck. So Harley and I were working on a Porsche 924. That nice looking car wasn't a project that we wanted to do anything special with. We got it as a non-runner. We made it into a running vehicle and then moved it on. And that did take a little bit of time at the beginning of the year and took up some space in the workshop. So we weren't really able to make some of the mock-up progress that we wanted. Nothing that's really valuable for the channel to show, which is why you haven't really seen any Porsche 924 content. I'm sure somewhere out there in the corner of YouTube, there's a channel that focuses on Porsche 924s, and I really wish them the absolute best, because working on a car from the 1970s from Porsche wasn't really something we found particularly fun to do. So happy to move that project on and really make space for Project 171. Also in the background, I've been working on a CNC router and a CNC mill. Now this is really just going to help some of the mocking up of projects. So using this really for MDF mock-ups, cutting the occasional part. In terms of high-end manufacturing, I'm not a great machinist. I don't think in the time that we've got for Project 171 that that's going to change considerably. So I am going to need some help with that. And already in the channel, Jon Grove's been helping. He's a pretty handy machinist. Harley is pretty handy on the tools as well. So as long as we can get those guys pointed on the right equipment, we'll probably end up with better machine parts than I could produce. And one of the big challenges I found throughout the year was, how do you balance the time spent on the project in design and manufacture and testing versus how much time is put into these videos? I've really enjoyed the process of getting a little bit better at video editing and putting this stuff together. I've got a long way to go before this channel is at the level we want it to be, but it's been really interesting learning that. But that has come with a cost. So every moment that is put into a video or video production is really valuable to you guys watching, but it is time that isn't put towards design and manufacture. And so trying to find a balance of making progress on the project and documenting the project has been really difficult. So where there's moments where there's been lots of videos coming out, that's going to be time where not a lot's being done on the car. When there's a lot getting done on the car, those are the times where there haven't been too many videos. Now I have got a little bit quicker with putting these videos together, so hopefully we can get the cadence of videos up, as well as the progress on the build moving forward as well. I'm not in a rush for Project 171. I'm enjoying the process, and I hope that's coming through in these videos. I'm loving backfilling all of the knowledge and really working on some of the calculations that I've done plenty of times before, but not in this context. So I've been enjoying the process, don't intend on rushing it. The journey is really what this is all about. It's not just about the end product, but we want to make sure that by the end of 2026, we've made some really good progress on the car. And there's a few exciting goals that we'll talk about maybe in another video. Now, one question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind is, how much money has been spent so far? And I want this channel to be a place where we deal with a lot of honesty around these sorts of things. And sometimes channels like this, they just distract you and don't really get down to the nuts and bolts as to how much these projects actually cost. Now, this is worrying to me because my wife watches these videos, and I'm not entirely sure that I want my family to know just how much money goes into these projects. But I don't want to distract you. For instance, some channels might do a cutaway to some sort of cute animals, maybe a dog that they've got. Oh, by the way, my family's got a dog this year, Solo. Beautiful animal. He's really getting to know the family very well. Really enjoyed having a puppy for first time for a long time. Or you might cut away to some sort of local animals, especially if you live in Australia, maybe show some kangaroos or something like that. And overall, you're just taking the cuteness and the distraction there, and you sort of forget what you were talking about. I mean, you can just look at the beauty of something that's completely different to what you signed onto this video for. So we don't want to be distracted. You know, we've had a great year in the last year, and one thing I used to love when watching shows, especially in the 80s when I was growing up as a kid, is, you know, those shows where you get clips of the greatest moments throughout the year. I absolutely love those. I know that for the show makers, they were the easy money. You know, you've already got footage in the bag and you can show some exciting stuff. Really, in the 2025, there's a few moments that I just think really stood out to me and to the channel. Now, the first video that really made it seem like this was going to work as a channel was the initial video looking at the suspension design. I've got to admit, it came at a time where I was getting a little bit down. I was putting a fair bit of effort into making videos. I thought I was getting better, and that just wasn't being watched at all. And then this video hit, and over a weekend, I went from, below what was needed to monetize to having over 1,000 subscribers at the time. And it was just so exciting. I had barely slept that weekend. I thought, this is fantastic. I'm so glad that people are enjoying this. It really meant a lot to me. It was one of the highlights of 2025, so I really appreciate that. Now, another video that I was really excited to do was the engine and head disassembly videos, like a short little series there. It was a chance to play around with some camera views. Now, these ones weren't viewed as much as the suspension videos, but it was a little bit closer to what we're trying to do, which is starting to experiment with not just what we're showing, but also some of the video angles and so on. Now, huge improvements still need to go, and I know they're nothing compared to some of the really great channels out there, and hopefully we can get a little bit closer in 2026, but I really enjoyed making those videos, and Harley and I had a great time in the workshop pulling apart those engines. Anytime you're in that workshop space, it's great to spend time with other people, and we just have a lot of fun. We laugh, we chat a lot, we talk a lot of garbage and stuff that really shouldn't be captured on camera, but those videos were a lot of fun, regardless of whether they got watched much or not. And the third video that I really want to call out as being one that was a step, I think, for the channel was the interview we did with Jon Grove. Now, Jon has joined the channel and is a part of things moving forwards, and it's been great to have him on board. It was one of the plans early on was to not make this a channel where it's just me. In fact, we've got Jon on board, Harley's been on board, and there's another person waiting in the wings, so hopefully we'll see of soon on some of these videos. But to do that interview with him, Jon's had a fantastic career in motorsport, 5 championships in 8 years that he worked in motorsport, has an incredible knowledge on engines, and is currently working in Jon Grove Engines doing his own thing. And being able to talk, I guess, honestly about how he felt about the direction of engines and his journey, I just thought that was fantastic. It was a great conversation, and really easy to edit because there was just nothing lost. Everything that we went through in that interview basically showed up in the video. Really enjoyed putting that together, and hopefully in 2026 we can get a few more people in front of the camera doing that sort of thing, doing interviews with people, especially in Australia, that have great knowledge in motorsport. So if you have suggestions about videos that you might want to see from this channel in the future, in this next coming year, please put them in the comments. There's a lot of ideas that have already been mentioned. We're going to try and get to them. It does take time to plan these, to shoot them and to edit them, but I do want to give you what you want to watch, especially as long as it's involved with design, manufacture and testing of cars, and we can access the equipment and the technology required. Really happy to go through it with you. Want to do those videos, so please leave your comments. They're always very valuable. Thank you very much for your time over 2025. Thank you for your time in this video, and I look forward to many more moments going through the design and build and improvement of vehicles in 2026. Cheers.